Hi, you've been hanging out with Rob at Front Row Live.
I'm Ray, this is Addison, and we're the band Rose Colored World.
What's up, guys? Rob here, Front Row Live Entertainment. I'm hanging out with Rose Colored World, and I'm so excited to be sitting down with you guys. As I mentioned earlier, I've been waiting for 2024 to have new music so we can jump in and talk about this creation process and just the band in general. How's this year been for you guys? Because I feel like there's been a lot of, like we talked earlier, there's been a lot of conversations on how this year is going to be, and then finally the music's being dropped. Now there's a label. How's that been for you guys?
It's been an absolute whirlwind in the best way. I feel so incredibly grateful that there is a team of people that believe in anything that we're making, and finally being able to like put them into the world and seeing them resonate with people has been just very surreal for sure.
And at the same time, like being able to have this team up with Velocity Records, I love the team at Velocity Records because they're just so down to earth. They've been in the industry for so long. They've been part of like the scene for so long. What was it about them that really drew your attention, and how did that first conversation really happen?
So, first of all, Dave Shapiro, who owns Velocity, is the GOAT.
Yes.
In not only the label world, but booking world. So we originally got linked up with Sound Talent Group, our booking agency, which Dave also owns.
There's nothing Dave doesn't do. If you don't know that yet,
Dave Shapiro.
He's like the rock and roll mayor. I swear, he's like omnipresent and like everybody loves him. It's an honor to work with him, truly.
Yeah, for real. No, the whole team has just been amazing.
We actually had like a moment on Shout Out State of the Scene podcast because they did a tweet. It was February of 23, so last year, and they tweeted "Spit Me Out," one of our singles, and they said like, "Laugh my ass off. This band's gonna be huge." And what they didn't realize is that it would go, viral within that 24 hours, and people started hitting us up. And it's like crazy how when you speak things, they can come into existence just like that. So shout out State of the Scene podcast because you guys really put us on, and we're grateful for that. So
that's incredible. That's incredible. And now that the new material is out, before we actually dive in and talk about that single, I really want to talk about just like the evolution of the band, kind of discovering your sound and getting to the sound today, because you listen to Walk on the Sun and it's like completely different than what we listen to today. Addison, your vocals are insane on that track as well. Like you hit some falsettos that I'm just like, how the hell do you do this? But talk to me about that track and like kind of moving forward and rediscovering yourselves to today's sound.
Yeah, so Walking on the Sun is the first track that has still stayed on all the DSPs. So there was a few songs before that for Rose Colored World that was released. We kind of were just figuring out our sound when nobody was really listening or seeing it. Walking on the Sun was the first song, though, I will say, where we really like wanted to make rock music. That's what we grew up playing, and that was the first step into that direction. And then of course COVID hit and we weren't so happy anymore. Right?
I had pink hair. Yeah, I had pink hair before, like bubblegum pretty pink hair, going into and came out with jet black hair and a bunch of, because I think as a culture we all like have this trauma bond that we all went through something really wild together as a society, and I think a lot of us that were fortunate enough to make art from it, and I feel like it allowed us this like weird space, this like glitch in the matrix, to really dive into stuff that maybe we didn't have time, whatever that means, to like process. And allowing ourselves to do that, led us to Torn in Two. And when we put that song out, we realized like, oh, this is it. And like we could feel it. It was like, it was super definite in our beings. And then it led us to Dan, who's our manager now. So it's like every song I feel like we put out into the ether led to like the next like breadcrumb of like people and community that was supposed to like be around the songs. And so to just be here is like, I'm just so grateful you even wanted to sit down with us. It's very weird. It's very surreal. I'm very thankful though.
At the same time as this evolution is going on, the vocals change, the instrumentation changes. How did that really impact the lyrics? Just because now it's like a more harder type of sound.
Yeah.
to say the least, I guess. But like, how did that really play a role?
I always say like Ad is like melody man to the max. Like I'll be in the kitchen and he'll be humming something and it's stuck in my head for 3 days and it's about something like eggs, like so dumb. But when it comes to lyrics, I'm like the little sad emo girl that's like constantly journaling and writing and doodling. And so I feel like through the stillness of what we went through and processed, I finally allowed myself and gave Ad kind of permission to like be yourself and
Yeah.
like go there and like, what do we really want to say? Like it's not just about like being catchy and like something going viral. It's like, what do we actually want to say to people if we had the opportunity to have that voice? And the second we started doing that is the second it started moving. So,
And yeah, I also just want to add that as far as production and songs, like I think it's fascinating that a single song could be taken into any genre.
Yeah.
It just depends on how you dress it up, right?
Yeah.
And there was a moment during that Ray came downstairs and said to me, I give you full permission to write songs how you did when you were 16 years old, like in your
Damn.
bedroom. And when
That's
she
a core
said,
memory right there.
oh, it was amazing. And it was perfect timing.
yeah, it was like, why were you writing those songs? Like, what drove you to the point where you're like, I got to get this out? And like when you're at shows too, like, I'm so excited, I want to punch someone in the face. Like, what does that? Like, what does that?
Because I wasn't writing music then to, it's just so different now, the whole world of music, I feel, and entertainment, just with social media.
Yeah.
And we're just constantly trying to surrender to like get back to that, like, why did I do it? Why was I in my underwear playing guitar in my parents' mirror, you know?
Yeah.
Like wanting to do this and feeling like I had something to offer the world.
Yeah.
So yeah.
That's cool that you went back into that kind of mentality, just because like you think about it, when we're kids, like we're having the most fun ever. There's no restrictions. There's no fear of like messing up or doing it wrong, right? Like, so I feel like that really plays a role when you're doing the same thing with music, whether it's vocals or instrumentation or even the writing process. It's like, don't be scared of like.
I feel like that too at live shows, like right now. And like, I feel like we've gotten to a place where we go into this like mode where we just get to have fun like kids. Like we're in this mindset where like everything I want it to feel, whether it's big or small, like a basement show, like you're sweaty with your friends and someone's hanging by the water pipes and getting way too drunk. Like I want it to always feel like that and have it be like unifying and be able to feel like you're part of a culture and not like it's this industry thing and like, oh no, it's this person and that person. And it's hard to not allow that to win sometimes, but it's like when you just go in and you're like, I get to play like I'm a kid.
Also in LA like that a lot.
Yeah.
Like once you get out of LA, you know, it kind of brings you back to the small town rock shows.
27. 27. That was like the perfect example.
Yeah.
Yeah,
You're right.
So when it comes down to you guys getting into the studio or just like even here at home in your bedroom, your living room, and just writing together, what's that chemistry like? And how did you learn to write together?
I'll start and then you could take it. So we started writing pretty much right after we met, within days, really, 2 days. So we've been writing together for 6 years together. And through this project, we've really figured out how to work together. That doesn't mean that it's always pretty, by the way, you know? But we try to not have any ego involved, at least the bad parts of ego. Ego is good in the way of like, you want to feel like you got this. But the part where it's like, hey, maybe Ray is singing this whole song, right? Like whatever's best for the song, not like what's best. Oh, well, you sang this part, so I got to sing this part, you know? We're just trying to make the best songs that feel the best for us, that is going to translate to a live setting. We're very much a live rock band.
Yeah, I mean, I totally agree with that. Right on, man. Right on.
But I'm sure like it was kind of like difficult trying to understand how each other wrote or the types of topics that you wrote about. Like how was that trying to get to understand each other in that sense, where it's like, okay, I can totally understand where you're coming from with this lyric, or I can totally understand how you're feeling today, so this is probably the mood that we're going to be in, or how has that vibe kind of connected you guys?
I feel like being incredibly honest and communicative at every moment of the process, and doing it in a way that always provides value. Like just going in and being like, I don't like that. Like it doesn't bring anything, right? But being like, hey, I'm not sure about that, but let's play.
Yeah.
Let's be in like this play where it's like, let's just not be afraid to try shit. And at the end of the day, like Ad said, it's all about the song. Whatever's best for the song, whatever lyric, doesn't matter if it came out of his mouth, my mouth, your, like if you walked in and you're like, hey, like, yeah, we were writing a song with a different project a while ago, and someone walked in and said the hook, like from shopping. So it's like, you never know, what it could be. And it shouldn't be about who it came out of. It's just about the art that you're making.
But I'm sure it takes some time to get to that level.
Oh yeah, it's a process.
Yeah, especially now with the new music, you brought a producer in, Tom Denney, which incredible artist as well. What was that like first having him in there in the first place? Like, was it a natural process with you guys letting a new person step into your sessions?
Yeah, I mean, it's been us pretty much this whole time. With here and there, we've had a couple producers step in, for a song or for a moment, but it's really been Ad and I kind of building this. But Tom Denney, he's a legend. From A Day to Remember to doing stuff with Pierce the Veil and Dayseeker. I mean, he's a legend. And so we sent him something remote. He lives in Florida. We've actually never been in the same room together still. and did the whole song.
Yeah, Tom, it was perfect. He was the perfect collaborator for us. To have like a true third person that felt like they were in the room. And this collaboration was like a true co-production. So we would write and produce out the songs here, and then once we were done tracking everything, like we said, this is done for us, right? The song is done.
Yeah.
Then we'd send all those stems to Tom. Tom would then do his thing. And what was really brilliant is we sent him stems dry, meaning there's nothing on it, right?
Yeah.
So the way that I have it in my session, it's mixed for me, but he's getting it all dry. And for him to then send back something that is more elevated, it was just brilliant. He's incredible, and it's been an honor to work with him, seriously.
Ray, it's wild that you left Florida, but you're still bringing Florida into your life.
Our manager, Dan's from Florida, Tom's from Florida. It's like you could take the girl out of there, but you can't take Florida out of the girl. So I feel thankful though, that all these people, especially Tom, want to, create with us and believe in what we're doing, because he is such a legend in the scene. And I'm excited for more of these songs to drop.
Me too.
Yeah, I'm really excited, guys.
So let's dive in and talk about Cold Day in Hell. That's technically the debut single under the Velocity signing. So this is the first release of upcoming material. What was it about this song that you felt like was the one to kind of introduce the world to the group?
Sure. So you haven't heard the rest, but of the songs, this just felt like the best kind of description of the overall EP that we have, that we haven't released yet, like the name or anything, but this felt like the first song, and we sent the whole EP to the label and our booking agency, and everyone picked the song.
Yeah, it was funny because we sent it over to the team at Velocity, and Dave was like, "Hey, don't tell me what you guys think it should be."
Nice.
And
like I said, Velocity knows their shit.
Yeah. And I was like, okay. And so we all had one in mind, and they had one in mind, and it was Cold Day in Hell. And so we were like, all right, let's rock.
We were aligned on the first two singles.
Yeah. So it's gonna be fun. I'm really excited for the second one. Ad's really excited for the third. But I'm really pumped just to continue getting it out there.
Yeah. Well, as far as the writing goes with this one, what really kickstarted the writing process for Cold Day in Hell?
Cold Day in Hell. It was the last song that we wrote for the EP, and we were in the middle of like negotiations, dealing with the writer's strike, dealing with just kind of feeling like, sometimes you feel like there's a breakdown before your breakthrough. And there was like this, like, we know what's about to be on the other side, but it's like the dissonance in between it was some kind of overwhelming. And it felt a little disheartening, even though all this good stuff was like about to happen. It was like the limbo was like, and kind of Cold Day in Hell was like, you're waking up in this kind of in between of ickiness. And it's like, it's the day you stub your toe and then this happens and that happens. And then the bridge was like this kind of reality check of like, wait a second, we're all humans. We all deal with this and you're not alone. And today's a new day if you want it to be. So it was like kind of gave hope out of that.
And the bridge where Ray says the lyrics, this is for the ones. So, you know, her and I both have lost people in our lives due to just a lot of mental challenges. Yeah. And, you know, we're still here and we're alive. And we want to let people know that, you know, this too shall pass, because we've seen it firsthand. Like, it doesn't make any sense that we're sitting here with you, you know, talking about our music. So we're just grateful, and we want other people to know that it sounds cliche, but we can make the life that we want, you know. This gets better.
Yeah. It's also like, it's okay to not be okay, but then it's also okay to be okay and like learn ways to move through your grief, because we only get, like Anthony Kiedis says, like, it's not a dress rehearsal. We only get one life here, baby.
At the same time, like being in a band, like that does cause a lot of mental stress, a lot of mental health, just because it's like you want to make it, but takes so long for people to pay attention, right? So for you to, how were you able to keep yourselves like kind of collected during this process, like letting yourselves know that this shit's hard, but it's gonna be okay?
Man, that's such a good question. I think one thing that really helped us was our manager, Dan, who's more like a third band member at this point, seriously, and he's like a brother to me and Ray. He was just always there because he's been through this. He's seen it. He knew that it would take, you know, longer than expected to just get things wrapped up, and it was going to be worth it. But for us, you know, we went so long without putting music out, and we played one show last year. That was it. Yeah. We played, and it was an amazing show. We got to play Why Worry Fest, which set it off. But, you know, 8 months without releasing music, right? Is that how long it was?
It was almost a year without really. Bloodbath was almost a year. But you know what? I said to Ad the whole time, like an arrow, sometimes you have to spring back to go way forward. And so I felt, but that's what Cold Day, it was like that dissonance of like, I know it's going to be that, but right now it feels shitty. And I feel thankful to have an outlet. And also, like, you know, even before this, we went for a hike, you know, spending time in nature, spending time off the phone, grounding in the, you know, we're in our backyard right now, doing things that have nothing to do with music and just like us, the humans, allow great art to come through, allow us to like actually want to sit down and do these things because we're charged up and we're not depleted. And sometimes that's hard. Sometimes there's weeks where it's like, and yes, Dan, shout out Dan, our manager, who's the best. He kind of is a great person to be able to check in with because he has done this and he knows.
Because we'll be like, all right, we got to figure this out. Yeah. We got to put out music. And then we FaceTime Dan and he's like, okay, so what do you want to do? Sure. He's like, everything's going to be okay. You know, in a year from now, you guys are going to wish that you were just in your backyard and now. And it's so true because as happy, as excited as we are, since we announced, it's just been boom, 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 this is what we've asked for. This is what we've prayed for. Right. But we really take the opportunity not lightly. So that sometimes puts more pressure on it because we want to, you know, we've been wanting these opportunities literally our whole life. Right. So, but we're learning the balance. We're learning to breathe. We did some breathing yesterday. Some new one. Do you meditate at all?
No, my wife does like yoga and meditations and stuff like that. And I'm trying to get into it, but it's funny because my way of relaxing is running in the mountains. I'm a trail.
Love that.
So like that's how I like to relax. I can't sit
and still. You are meditating when you're doing that.
But I can't sit still and like do it like the way that everybody envisions what meditation is. I can't.
So like, what happens? Your mind is going too fast that you.
I don't know
you
what
just
it is.
Can't
I feel
do
like
it.
It's just always on. But when I'm in the mountains, I don't have to worry about anything
it's
other
turned
than
off.
like make sure there's no bears.
Right.
You know. But
please make sure there's no
myself,
bears.
And it's like So I guess, yes, to answer your question, yes, I do
Okay,
meditate.
yeah.
It's just in my own way.
Yeah, it's
Yeah,
an
that's-
active meditation.
That's
Yeah.
beautiful.
Yeah, I love that.
Yeah.
As long, I mean, everybody has their own thing. Some people it's dancing, you know, some people there's so many different ways. Like we go for long walks here and there. Just
Anything
like,
that can get us out
yeah,
of our heads
out of the head
sometimes.
into the body. Movement is such medicine. So it's like whatever works for you, you know, but I highly encourage people who, especially people who are listening to this music, a lot of it, you know, lyrically can be heavy. And I think that's how we all kind of bond, but there are ways to like, you know, move through the heaviness. So
Can I just talk about Take It Lighter, that our dog Mark is so committed to getting outside. He hasn't stopped scratching at the door.
every like 30 seconds, he's like,
Let's double mic you. All right, you can take it.
He sees the commitment from you guys, so he's like, I got to do the same.
yeah, exactly.
I got to do the same. But yeah, like I'm super excited to hear what else is coming out from you guys. Just because, like I said, I've been patiently waiting for this new material, and I'm sure you guys have been patiently waiting for it to be released as well.
As patiently as we can.
You know, talk to me about like challenges that you guys kind of faced, whether it was vocally, instrumentation wise, just like the new kind of tones that you guys went into. Where did you feel that you felt challenged during this track or the EP?
Cold Day in Hell was hard. That was like, honestly, I feel like the only hard song for us. The other songs flew out. The next single, like I was about to work out and the whole hook like was like boom. I recorded it. And then that night Addison and I went out and we were like feeling good, you know?
Yeah.
And I was like, I forgot I recorded this idea. I got to show you. And we're like walking back to our car, like coming up with the guitar parts, like running
That's
home to
amazing.
do it, and was like, oh, this is a thing. And that pretty much took us like a day. And then it didn't have a bridge. We sent it to Tom. Tom built out the sickest bridge. It was crazy. And then we did another day and it was
That was for
the next single.
yeah, the next one. Cold Day in Hell was the most challenging one, though. I feel, though, we made the track vibe first, and then it sat, and then we would revisit it. I believe we had like 2 different choruses before
And three different verses.
and 3 different verses. Yeah, but that everything else, honestly, it's crazy to say. It flew out. What Tom did, we had rarely ever any notes. And
Wow.
it just
it was just like perfect. Sorry. Yeah.
yes, Mrs. President.
I'm overwhelmed now. It's your turn.
Okay.
But that's really cool that like there was no notes, nothing. It was just like the way that you guys created it. He did his thing, you guys did yours, and it just worked out perfect.
Yeah, there was like not, which happens so rarely. There wasn't friction. And by the way, I don't expect that to happen
Yeah.
even on the LP every song, right? Like, but for this, we didn't even realize we were making an EP. We got connected
That's the
with
best
Tom.
feeling.
It was amazing. We were just like, hey, we got connected with Tom. Let's try a song. So we sent him a song. We were like, oh, this is great. Let's do another one. So we wrote something, sent it. Then we had 2 songs done, and we were like, wait, are we like making a thing here? And yeah, we just kind of went on with it.
Would you say that now that this music is out, this is the sound that you guys have finally discovered for yourselves, or do you still feel that you're still trying to figure out what that sound for the band is?
I feel like every song is a new evolution of what this band is and what it will be. And, you know, like the EP already sounds different because we're working on our album already because
Yeah.
we're so excited and have a ton of stuff written for that already. That already sounds different than the EP. So I think it's just a constant evolution of being inspired by other bands and from past and present and what's just coming out and kind of continuously living and really processing what's going on and having a great time doing it. Us
Yeah.
laughing the whole time along the way while it all happens, because what else are you gonna do?
Gonna have a great time.
There you go. There you go. Now, now I know I mentioned earlier that you guys have been waiting to release music, but you guys have been very active in the last year, this year as well, with shows and you know, tours as well. Like, but talk to me about like the impact that those shows had onto this new material that you guys are starting to roll out.
I think it had a big impact because when we first made the first batch of songs, it was during the so we weren't feeling what that felt like live yet.
Yeah.
And then we had an interesting opportunity that happened to us early on in the band. So coming out of, we had a residency at Six Flags Magic Mountain.
Wow.
And that's when we put the band together that we currently are still with. And we did 30 shows and 130-minute sets coming out of.
Jeez.
So we felt really.
No, go ahead.
No, we felt really tight, well oiled. But to answer your question, sorry, I went somebody else, somewhere else. I forgot what I was saying. Did you remember what I was saying?
No, but I will say a different thought, piggybacking off of that. We wrote a first batch of songs, is what I was trying to say. And after we started going out back in the scene, coming out of and like really feeling like we're back, baby, and we're better than ever because we appreciate it differently. And we started playing that batch of songs. We saw what resonated, what didn't, what we like to do live, what we don't like to do live.
Yeah.
And it kind of helped shape like what everything is on the EP. Like if I played the whole, if we did like front to back, it would be so much fun to play live. And we got to open for Sum 41 this year, which was insane. And even just being a witness to how they all move as a unit, and how Derek writes songs, and just being a fly on the wall and seeing that unit, it's so inspiring. And then, we take that with us. We're just sponges. So it's really exciting.
And then you guys are getting ready to hit the road again with Dangerous Summer this in July or June, actually.
In a few weeks.
In a few weeks now. So now that there's the material, do you guys expect, or do you feel that you're going to test out this material live, or do you want to play different songs live? What can the fans look forward to? But what are you guys looking forward to on this run?
So we were playing 2 of the new songs for the last year. At the shows, which are not released. So now that 2 singles on the EP will be released before the tour, Cold Day in Hell and the next single. So those will be added into the set. I'm super excited to play those songs live. But we have a 25-minute set because we're opening the shows. Yeah. So we are playing 7 songs. So we're trying to play all the songs that have been released so far. Starting after Walking on the Sun. So you won't hear the falsetto live.
No more falsettos.
There's some falsettos, just not that one. But I'm super excited to play Cold Day in Hell live.
Yeah.
We haven't done that yet. So that'll be fun. What about you, Mrs. President?
Well, Mr. President, I'm excited to play the next single that we're about to release live. We had a cool opportunity that we're not allowed to announce yet, but once we can, and it'll be really sick to say to the world, but we had a cool opportunity that it's used in, and we got to like play it live in this setting, and we were like, oh shit, this is a thing. Like, I don't know how to explain it. I haven't felt that feeling necessarily yet, and it was really fun. So I'm stoked.
That's awesome.
Secrets. Ooh.
So many secrets. Yeah, it's weird. I'm like, we have secrets. Like, anyway.
Shit's happening.
Yeah, we're kind of in it. It hasn't hit us, and I hope it never really does.
Yeah,
I want it to always feel like play.
Yeah, these individuals.
I just want it to feel like play, man.
Yeah.
I just want to have a good time.
Exactly. Well, I'm excited that we finally got to do this. I look forward to doing this again once more music is out. Maybe during the tour. I gotta catch you guys at the Chain Reaction show because Chain Reaction is like home to me. So I'm super excited for that.
We'd love to see you there.
Thank you so much for hanging out with me.
Yeah.
Congrats with the success so far. You guys be sure to check out Rose Colored World. New single is out now. And thanks for watching on Front Row Live.